Hello, everybody. How
What's
you
the
doing?
deal?
So I like how because the angle of the camera is a little different for you,
Mhm.
Core. It kind of looks like you're like a porn could be shot in that room.
There might have been some. No, I'm just kidding. This is my guest bedroom. This is where all the magic does not happen. Maybe for guests, hopefully not. I would not. You think that's the thing? You think guests go to people's house and like they wanna like, hey, we should try and bang in the
You
guest
know,
room.
I feel like it's maybe split, like 50-50 type thing.
Hmm.
Because I mean, I think some people would be like, "Come on, like we're at Craig's house. Like we can't. This isn't our house." But then other people, it's the opposite reaction. They'd be like, "Fuck yeah, we're in Craig's house."
Yeah, that's just it's like it's not crossing the boundaries enough where you're doing some like too rebellious shit, but you're also like, this is a little rebellious. We're not in our bed, like so it's
Yes.
like it's a fucked up move if someone's your friend and you do that shit because like no one wants you skeeting on their sheets.
Skeeting on your sheets is a good name for a band.
That
Skeeting on
is.
your sheets.
Shout out to all the siblings, National Sibling Day. Did you see that? Oh, do they have that trending on Twitter?
Oh no, I didn't see that. I didn't
Yeah,
see that.
Instagram, it's a big thing. So everybody, I get to see what everybody's brothers and sisters look like.
Yeah, I should probably
All those
text my
holidays
sister.
is like everyone just post like Mother's Day, you'll see what all your friends' mothers look like. Father's Day, you're gonna see what everybody's fathers look like. Every like
You know,
sibling day, you're gonna see brothers, sisters.
there's like there's a calendar that lays out like every holiday,
That must be the
and
fucking
every
world's
day
largest
is a holiday.
calendar. That's what I'm saying. There's this it's National Keyboard Day,
Yeah,
like
there's always
National
some shit.
Right like ass cheek day.
National Right Ass Cheek Day. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna tell you right now. So
Too
we're
many.
we're in April. Obviously, April 1st was April Fool's Day.
Mm-hmm.
April 2nd was Peanut Butter and Jelly Day. April 3rd was Find a Rainbow Day. April 4th was Vitamin C Day.
There's nothing on April 3rd?
I said April 3rd was Find a Rainbow Day.
Oh, 3rd. Oh, okay. I thought
Yes.
you went from 2 to 4.
No, I'm sorry. April 3rd, Find a Rainbow Day. April 4th, Vitamin C Day. April 5th, Easter. April 6th, Hostess Twinkie Day. What the fuck?
How do we miss that shit?
I don't know. But
We
then,
should have known that.
yeah, we should have known that one. April 7th, No Housework Day. April 8th, Draw a Bird Day. Oh, come on. Draw a Bird Day? That's like not that far off from your joke thing of like Right Ass Cheek Day.
That's what I'm saying.
It's like so irrelevant.
And while
Cherish.
that calendar has all that shit,
Hmm.
there's other calendar like there's made up shit that like is just you like also today, and I hope if you look at today's date, hopefully it says National Sibling Day, but then someone also said it's like National Library Workers Day or something like that.
What day? It's the what date is it? The 10th. Oh, and get this. Safety Pin Day.
That's the 10th?
That's the 10th. Yeah.
Damn, no one on Instagram's posting about that shit.
Because that shit is fucking. Who has anything to say about safety pins? Nobody has.
That's what I'm saying.
Nobody even has an opinion about safety pins ever. Like that's.
Imagine just everybody started posting pictures of safety pins and they were just like, shout out to safety pins.
And then there's this big political debate that happens, and like Republicans are like, "We're against safety pins. Fuck them," and Democrats are like, "Safety pins are really great because they're like they keep things safe."
Safety pins are actually pretty important to like wardrobe sometimes. Like it's such a like item that you don't think about that much, but if you're at a wedding or you're like trying some shit on or something pops off like your pants or some shit, safety pin is very important. Like you'll always hear someone say like, "Does anybody have a safety pin?" And
I
everybody's just like, why the fuck would someone have a safety pin?
I don't know. I'm sure I have at one time or another worn a safety pin, but I can't recall any time I've ever worn a safety pin.
Yeah, neither can I, but I feel like I have also. I feel like something on my pant, like maybe my
Yeah,
zipper broke or something, or my
that's
shirt needed to be something happened.
yeah, that's some shit. I feel like there's a chance that at like my sister's graduation back in the day, my mom was like, "Hold on, the thing is not fitting right," and she'll put a safety pin somewhere.
Yeah,
Like that
that's
probably
such an
happened
old
at some point.
school like motherly thing to carry though, is the safety pin.
not carry with her, but we could have been at the house and she was like, we'll use the safety pin.
No, but I'm saying like it's such an old school thing for any person above, I don't know, I feel like 35, 40 to even have like to know how to use a safety pin.
Well, it's the same shit with like having butterscotch candies. Like if you have butterscotch candies at your place, you're above 60.
Yeah, there's certain things that just don't get past general. Like my wife knows how to do this, which I'm pretty surprised. But like sewing, you're either like working at like, I'm not even gonna say, but you're either an old ass lady who knows how to sew like a blanket, or you're like a tailor at like some spot on the corner, you're like hemming people's pants or some shit.
You're talking about sewing clothes shit. She knows how to sew clothes shit.
No, so like
sewing everything.
Sewing and knitting is what I meant.
Sewing and knitting, like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, knitting, I know Lilith knits. I know Lilith knits. Yeah, she likes knitting.
Supposedly, it's very relaxing and like.
I'm sure. Listen, like man. I'll tell you what. My grandma on my dad's side was she actually sewed, but she didn't just sew like clothes stuff or whatever, and she didn't just do knitting like knit a sweater. I don't think she did knitting, but she would do these things. She'd buy at the store these things that are like these pictures that you make with sewing. Like you take a little needle, you take the thread, you follow the directions, and you make pictures. They were so fucking good. Like she was so good at it that I literally have some of her pictures back in the 1990s hanging at my place.
So what did she do with the picture?
So it's I really don't know how to describe it, but like I think if you go to the store or went to the store back in the day, whatever store she went to, I don't know. I feel like fucking
CVS or
Caldors or some shit from back in the day, and like there would be these things like, you know how for like a kid they have like coloring books and you can get it and then you color in the lines and shit. Like everybody knows coloring books. This is like a little sewing kit, I guess, where you buy it and and you can sew onto this piece of fabric a picture, basically. And she would sew like, like a bouquet of flowers or whatever. And you have to like follow the directions. And I think is it called needlepoint? Maybe it's called needlepoint, what she did. Whatever it is, it's like a version of sewing.
Yeah. I think my wife's mom just did that. She put a teddy bear on like some blanket shit.
Yes, it's like that, except I'm talking about it would be like there's like a wooden frame. It could be in a circle or a square.
Yes. And you plug through.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Yes,
exactly.
She was doing that shit just the other day.
And son, that shit, like she was nasty at it, my grandma. Like she was so good that like I told my mom, back a while ago, listen, I want some of her stuff. Like it was so good that I want to hang that up. And so I have a bunch of it hanging because I was that impressed by it. And I remember when I was a little kid, she was like trying to teach me to do it. And like I did it for a little bit, but I was buns. I didn't know how to do it like good. But I was always so like I loved her fucking, it was really good art and it was impressive.
But and all that shit like withstands the test of time too. Like it's a trait that it's not like video games where you can be like, push this button. Like it's something that's actually like tangible. Like you're making art. And that
shit's getting passed down for sure.
Exactly.
100% it's getting passed down. Because I guarantee you, if I were to show my niece and nephew when they're older, they'd be like, that's nice. Like it's genuinely nice.
Yeah, but like that shit for your grandma, that was like her Game Boy or some shit. Like that was like what they did with their friends. They called up their homies and was just like, you want to go to the park and fucking do this shit with
That's what they would do, yeah. They would be honestly on some like southern type shit where she would like sit on the front porch with her little lawn chair and she would just sew this shit, the needlepoint. And it's like, that's damn.
Those are like the stereotypical shit you see of like a grandmother, like when you're running in the house and she's in her rocking chair just like, Daddy's in the back.
That's exactly what it was. Okay, son, before we even keep talking, we have to do the polls because we keep forgetting to do them.
Oh, true that.
So let's jump right into this shit. I jotted down, or I put into my notes, the polls. Okay, first one, shaving cream versus shaving gel. I think that's a good poll. And I'm team shaving cream by 1.5 miles.
I think I'm cream too, but I think that's just because I was exposed to shaving cream. Like that was the only shit I bought because I wasn't educated enough on shaving gel. Like if someone had exposed me to shaving gel first, that might be my thing. But since shaving cream is just like universal with shaving, that's why I think I like shaving cream.
Do you
But
think
gel could be better?
Do you think people are going to pick the gel or the cream?
Cream is gonna slaughter gel, I think.
Okay, that's a good guess. I think I agree with that.
Because for that reason, I think just because gel is just it's not that known in the shaving world. And I could be wrong. I'm not a beard guy.
I don't agree with it. I think people know about the gel.
You think so?
Yeah, I do. Because it's I feel like it might even sell more because I think the cream is more expensive. And,
is it?
Yeah, and like who wants to
I feel like
oh,
gel
what am I
would be
going to
more
ball out
expensive.
for fucking shaving? Like, no, I'll just get whatever's cheaper, and whatever's cheaper is the shaving gel.
I feel like the cream is cheaper. Like they used to have those Barbasol shits for like.
I thought those were more expensive, the Barbasol, versus
I could be wrong.
I remember there was this Gillette gel that my dad got back in the day, and it was like he got like a huge pack from Costco, and it was so cheap. And I was using the cream, and I was like, I compared the price, and I was like, damn, the gel is so much less expensive. I just always feel like the gel, it feels like colder when it hits your skin, which is nice, but it doesn't give the same, like, I don't know, the cream, something feels great about the cream.
Yeah.
The shaving cream.
Yeah, it's just like all mushed on there, and like I think squeezing the cream is better too. Just that like.
That's
Whereas,
true.
like, the gel is just that,
People are
like,
definitely going to take that out of context. But yeah, that's true. That's definitely
I love that
true.
sound of just like it's just like a big marshmallow just pops.
I know, and all you have to do is like tap it, and it's a decent amount comes out.
No,
I don't know about you, but I always put too much. Like,
yeah, and then I end up just washing it off.
me too. Like 75% of it I have to wash off, and then I just use the tiny little bit.
Oh.
Okay, so shaving pole. We got shaving cream, shaving gel. Let's do it. Okay, next poll is I keep picking up the wrong shit. Oh, classic. Street Fighter versus Mortal Kombat versus Tekken.
Oh, yeah, that's a good. I think didn't we do something with Mortal Kombat one time and Mortal Kombat Slade?
I think did we? I don't think we did.
Because I feel like I was surprised by the answer. I was like,
Oh, maybe we did do that poll.
I think so because Mortal Kombat won, and I was surprised because I was talking about they had a movie or some shit, and I thought Street Fighter had a movie too, but it definitely didn't do as well as Mortal Kombat shit.
Yeah, you're right. We did do this poll for sure. We did because I remember we had this exact conversation.
And I feel like if they did a Street Fighter movie again, no one would know about that shit, but The Rock would definitely be in it because that motherfucker is on my Instagram timeline in every fucking movie that's in the theaters right now. He's always doing some world premiere. He's in the new one, Rampage, where he's like fighting like a big monkey or gorilla or something.
I was inspired. I looked up his workout, regimen, regime, whatever. Why the fuck am I blanking on that word? Whatever. I looked up his workout, and he works out 6 days a week for
he's a monster.
An hour and a half to an hour and 45 minutes a day.
Yeah, he's on a different level.
And he says, well, I mean, I think he's roided the fuck up, but
you think so?
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, it's still like that's still amazing. It's still like holy shit. And he said like this is my like Zen time. This is my fucking antidepressant. This is my everything. Like that's his time. But I was like, damn, that's a lot of working out, man. 6 days a week. God damn.
Yeah, he's all about that shit. He traveled to Tokyo or some shit, and the first thing he did when he landed was work out. And I give him props, but it's also when you make your own like schedule and shit like that, when you have that much money, like you can do that shit. Like
yeah, but he's one of the busiest fucking people there is. The thing is, he genuinely enjoys it. That's the thing. Like most people look at a workout and they're like, ugh, I gotta fucking do this shit and get it out of the way. But he genuinely is like, I can't wait to get in the gym. You know what I mean?
True. I think I don't know. I still think it's easier for him with like no worries, whereas someone who
Oh,
is
for
stressed
sure.
from work and shit.
Yeah,
and,
he has no financial worries, that's for sure.
Exactly.
And somebody who's working a full-time job, who's just trying to keep the fucking lights on.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
yeah,
I can
they
squeeze
don't.
my workout at 5:30 in the morning.
And then
or
people got kids and fucking families, and it's like, what do you like? You have to
Yeah.
fucking get dinner. Like, what do you mean you're gonna go work out? Like, you have to buy dinner, and we have a child. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Some people
So-
can't fucking go to a gym for an hour and a half every fucking day, and
Yeah,
like,
it's hard. It's hard, man, for sure. But I was inspired by his shit. But then again,
no, he's definitely an inspiring fucking dude.
he's getting that fucking chemical assistance for sure. I remember back, I used to. Did you ever take it too? I used to take creatine back in the day.
I never did creatine. I did casein at night, which was like
The
that
casein
slow.
protein. Yeah. The other protein.
Yeah, but the casein like got you bloated, right?
Creatine, you mean?
Creatine, yeah.
Yeah, creatine, it makes you retain a lot of water weight, so you feel like you got huge gains, but really you're just kind of bloated, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But it definitely made you look like bigger. And the
Yeah.
argument is it also makes you, like, it makes you work out a little harder, I guess. That was, I kind of felt like that. For me, the thing that I feel like the pre-workout drinks helped the most, but they were straight up drugs.
Hell yeah. There used to be so many people in the gyms that would do that CO4 or something like C4 or it was like
I
in a
remember the
red
one you're talking about.
it was like a red container.
I used to take, I think it was called, I'm looking it up.
That used to be the
Green
shit.
Magnum was one of them. Let's see.
That sounds like the middle step between like just a regular condom and like the regular Magnum.
I think I'm fucking it up. It's not Magnum. It's green
Like
something.
the Johnny Walker Black, but then like, it's just like the Johnny Walker Green label. Like your dick's all right. You
So-
can't get the Magnum yet, but you get the Magnum Green.
Okay,
Like a
so
ski slope.
I can't find that one. It was green something that I used to take, the pre-workout drink. That shit tasted delicious and made me fucking beast in the gym. And then the one I used to take, the one I took after that is the one that everybody was taking, Jacked, like the Jack 3D
Oh, yes.
or the fuck.
Yeah,
And that's probably been banned.
that's a throwback.
Yeah,
They
that's probably
probably
been banned now.
If it was banned, they definitely made some modifications.
Well,
or
that's
some
what
shit.
they do the same shit. See, a lot of people don't know when you go to like Vitamin Shop or whatever and you buy some fucking pre-workout shit, like it is actually the case that in some of the shit that you take from there, you're taking steroids. And then what happens is they catch them with the steroids, they ban that one, and then you re-release a different product that has that shit in it. And it's just a game. It's a game of cat and mouse. It's just like, here's some fucking steroids in this shit. Oh, sorry, that one's banned. Well, here's a new one that's doesn't have steroids, and that one's on the market for a year, and then that one gets banned, and then they do another one. But Jacked, I remember after I had been using it for a while, and again, it gets you fucking pumped, and you go in there and you really do work out much harder. But then I saw an article that was like talking about how people were taking Jacked and then going to clubs because it got them so fucking high.
It's not a bad idea.
And then I was like, damn, like it hit me at that point. I was like, oh, I'm just like taking a drug before I work out. Like I'm taking a drug. It's basically like I'm taking caffeine mixed with like 3 or 4 other things that make me feel fucking up and awake. And then I was like, it's probably not a good idea for me to keep taking this shit.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, man, I can say for sure, it's definitely not healthy to take those things, but your workouts are a lot worse when you don't have something like that in you. Like your workout, you're just not as strong. You're not.
Yeah.
Like I distinctly remember my workouts when I stopped taking it, and I was like, God damn, I normally would easily be able to bang out, 4 sets of 10 with this shit, and I'm struggling to get to fucking 8 on my first set.
Yeah, that's when you start getting addicted to the shit and like relying on it. Like when it's just like, I mean, the whole purpose of working out is to be healthy and feel healthy. But if you're working out on that shit that's mad unhealthy for you, it's almost like, well, what's the purpose of doing this shit? So you can get a couple more sets, or you want to do it normally without all that shit? Like steroids, I never understood it. Like, okay, you're gonna look bigger and all this shit, but like the purpose of working out is to fucking feel good. And I guess to some people, it's to look good is more important
Well,
than
that's the main
feeling
point.
good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the point, is that what are you working out for? For me, when I was in like high school and college, it was vanity. It was like I want to look bigger. I want to look like I have, whatever, a solid build. And so it's more vanity than anything else. And when you're working out for vanity more than anything else, you're going, I don't give a fuck if I'm taking this shit and this shit's not that good for me. The whole point is, I want to have big biceps. I want to so you take it and you're like, fuck it. But you're right. When you hit a point, when you decide, I want to work out to actually be healthy now and feel good, well, then that's a totally different kind of workout. And the guy who was, what's his fucking name? The guy who was in that movie, Don John, whatever his name is.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, the dude from fucking 30 Rock or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever his name is. Oh, Joseph Gordon-Levitt?
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah, okay, that guy.
Yeah.
He was like, because he worked out a lot and did a lot of weightlifting for that role, Don John. And he was like, I didn't feel healthy. Like, I was working out a lot, but it was mostly weightlifting. And he was like, I didn't feel healthy. Like, I wasn't healthy. And then he said for a different role, he had to do cardio. He had to do a lot of cardio and not do weightlifting. And he was like, I felt really healthy when I just did cardio all the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, so, yeah, it's a vanity thing. It's like, if you want to have the muscles, you could have the muscles, but that's not necessarily the thing that's going to make you happy and healthy.
Exactly. And that was always my, like, I feel like that's my motto with a lot of things. Like, even when I go out to drink, like, I'm not going out so I get so drunk where I can't even fucking remember anything. Like, I'm trying to drink to a point where I feel good, So it's like, I'm not going to extend that shit to the next level, like, with some, like, drugs or some shit that some people do to, like, enhance the experience more or whatever. Because then the next day they're like, bro, I don't even fucking remember it. I was just so zonked out of my mind. And I'm just like, that's cool, or you could just go have a couple drinks, feel good. So you're, a little just lighter. You got some weight lifted off you. And I feel like I've done the same thing with the gym too. I was never like trying to do steroids or some shit because I was just happy with going and feeling good. That was like my.
Yeah. Well, you always played ball. Like, you would always play basketball.
Yeah, basketball's the best cardio.
And now that's what I was going to say, is that you don't even realize if you're playing basketball a lot, you're in really good shape. Because if you're playing basketball a lot, that means you're just running around a lot. And there's nothing like getting a good cardio workout in when it doesn't even register in your mind like it's a cardio workout 'cause you're just playing ball.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even realize, like, oh shit, I really just worked out really hard and it was great. Like, it doesn't register because it's like you were just balling. Like, you were focusing on making the layup or, playing defense or getting down there and shooting a three. And, like, you're breathing heavy and you're sweating. And it's like, damn, that was a good workout, but you didn't even think of it as a workout.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I mean, that happens with, like, when you're reading a book or some shit. If you're locking in, you really enjoy the book.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like you're reading.
It doesn't feel like you're reading. And then, like, the stuff that you gain from it, like just words that you'll pick up or something like that, you won't remember where you learned that word, but you'll say that shit and you'll be like, I don't know where I fucking, like, I say words, I don't know where I've learned them, but maybe I read an article one time or some shit trying to be smart and it just stayed with me.
Well, the crazy thing is, it might not even be that necessarily. So Noam Chomsky, one of the things, he's also a linguist. People think of him just as like a political philosopher. He's also a linguist, and he changed the game for linguistics because the idea before Chomsky, there's this guy, B.F. Skinner, and his idea was behaviorism. And what that means is they assumed that all human beings and like kids, you're like a lump of clay when you're put into this world. And like, the way you learn language is from hearing your parents talk and hearing like adults talk, and then it kind of seeps into your brain, and then you just kind of regurgitate the things that you heard. And so that was the idea, that like you're a lump of clay and then you absorb everything in the world and then you're able to speak after a certain amount of time. Well, Noam Chomsky proved that it's actually not just that. You also have like an innate capacity for language. And what they found was that kids were able to compile more complex sentences than things they had ever heard in their lives. So like at a certain age, it's not just that they're absorbing words and like regurgitating words. Something that's already in our minds knows how to order sentences and knows how to use words that are even more complex than things we've ever heard. So isn't that wild? That like
yeah, that's my mind is blown right now because I have a daughter and I'm like, do I have to say?
No, like that's the point. Is like there's gonna come a day where your daughter says something and you're like,
where the fuck did you pick that
like
up?
where? Yeah, like what? What was that? I never said that. Molly never said that.
Yeah.
Like what? So and listen, you'll catch yourself doing it too every now and then. Sometimes it's I say something, I'm like, where the fuck did that come from? So that's a weird and interesting thing.
It is very yeah.
Oh, one more poll that we forgot to do. We never did Xbox versus PlayStation, right?
I don't know. I feel like we did that shit too. No,
did we? I didn't think we did, but maybe you're right. Should we do any more polls? If we should, I don't know them.
I texted you the one earlier that came to my mind because I was eating home fries earlier.
Oh,
and it made me think of French fries.
I wasn't thinking of the podcast when you sent it to me, but we should do that podcast. We should do that poll.
Yeah, because you threw back at me. I said best French fry because I was eating some.
Okay, so tell me which ones you named again.
So, steak fries.
Okay, so we'll do steak,
curly fries,
steak, curly, regular, and waffle. We'll do.
Yeah.
And what was the other one you threw at me?
There was a. What the fuck did I say?
There was one other you threw.
Crinkle cut is popular.
I didn't even know.
Shake Shack.
That's like the skinny ones. Is that what crinkle is?
No, it's like semi-thick, but it's got like zoom.
Okay.
Like,
I kind of know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Like Nathan's is crinkle cut.
Okay, I got you now.
And Nathan's are banging.
I feel like waffle kind of edges out.
I think it's a different category.
Crinkle cut.
Because regular is
no, it's different category. But I'm saying we got to pick one of the two to be on the poll. Either waffle or crinkle. I think waffle.
Oh, waffle is better than crinkle, but I'm saying over regular. Like, cause what's regular? Like a McDonald's regular? Like what's regular?
Yeah, regular. I just think of like a fry that's skinnier than a steak fry. That's it.
Oh, it's like a regular. Yeah, like a McDonald's. Like it's just regular.
Yeah, like a McDonald's shaped fry, basically.
Yeah.
I like curly too. Curly are fucking great. I like all fries. This is a preposterous poll because everybody likes all fries.
There's shoestring too. Shoestrings are
shoestring.
Like the skinny ass shits.
Okay, for the best French fry one, I'm thinking, who do you think's gonna win? I feel like regular's not gonna win because there's other options there that are just a little more intriguing.
I think either waffle or curly might win. Is curly even on the list?
Yeah, we put curly on the list.
Oh, okay.
I feel like waffle or curly might win too, but I think if people really stop and think about it, they'll be like, well, regular's a fucking staple.
If people stopped and thought about it, steak fry would win because you get the most potato for your buck.
Well, see, that was my argument on the waffle one. Is I feel like I got most potato in the waffle. No. Yeah,
but it's dispersed. Like steak, it's all fucking compact in there. So if you like potato in a fry, like the waffle.
I see what you're saying. Like legit potato.
Yeah. You put the waffle fry on your tongue. And there's like those spaces, like you still feel your tongue. You put a steak fry on your shit, your whole mouth is full of potato.
That's true, but I feel like I've had there have been times where I've had steak fries and they like undercooked them or something, and I'm like,
oh, I even like the undercooked kind because it's like mushy and like you could bend it better in the ketchup.
Well, that's the thing. Like, okay, so you like the undercooked fries. I like all fries. Let me just be clear about that.
Oh, same. I'll take undercooked, mushy, hard.
Doesn't matter. But when it comes to pizza, that's the big debate. Oh, now we got to do this poll. If you had to have
kind of pizza too.
If you had to have pizza thick and doughy or thin and crispy.
Thin and crispy, easy.
Thick and doughy.
Nah.
That's my and listen.
Oh, what do you mean by thick? Like a thin thin crust?
Yeah, I'm talking about thin and crispy versus thick and doughy.
Oh, thick and doughy then.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Thin crust pizza. Yeah.
What'd you say thin for? Because this is a debate I've had with my family.
I thought you meant New York style thin pizza.
Oh no! I wasn't talking Chicago versus New York.
Yeah,
no.
That's what I thought you were.
No.
like implying.
So
but
I gotta word this so everybody knows what I'm talking about. If you had to pick,
Yeah, because that gets too weird. Because if they don't know how to cook it, it's too thin and starts to get brittly, and that shit starts tasting like matzah.
Yeah, I've had this debate. I remember my dad way back. He was saying like, he was describing good pizza from somewhere, and he was like, "Oh, it's really good pizza. I love it. It's so thin and crispy." And I was like,
He definitely was talking about Pizza Uno's because my dad swears by their thin pizza
"No,
too.
he was talking about Amore."
Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah,
Amore makes thin crust?
Yeah, I guess their pizza's kind of thin or whatever. But I was like looking at him like, I like fucking thick, doughy pizza. Like if I'd had pizza a little overcooked or a little undercooked, give me undercooked.
Mm-hmm.
Like give me like a Sicilian slice is like, yes.
Oh, I went to a spot in Brooklyn when I was back, Spumoni Gardens.
That shit sounds like it's got delicious pizza.
Oh, it was so good. It was so good that like outside of the shit, there was the restaurant. It felt like I was in a Bronx Tale. Like there was like the whole police force was like outside of this shit waiting to get pizza. There was detectives, there was like CSI, there was like bomb units, there was dogs waiting online. There were so many fucking it was like it felt like I was in a 1950s Bronx Tale movie. Like we walked through and there's guys sitting at the table with like their like detective jackets on. It was like, "Hey, how you doing? How you doing? Hey, how are you? How
Hey,
you
Gino,
doing?"
how you doing over here?
Our waiter was like stereotypical Brooklyn. He was like, "Hey, you guys, how you doing? What do you want? A soda? Pizza?
Oh
What do
my
you want?"
god, that's so
it was
funny.
almost over the top so much, but then I was like, "Nah, he's probably from Brooklyn and really like is that type of person."
What kind did you get? You got Sicilian?
Sicilian is like their go-to shit there. And I felt bad because there was a tourist in there. He came by himself. He was just like a nice looking guy or whatever, but just out of his element. Sat down and was just like, "I'll have a pizza."
Oh no.
And I almost wanted to just be like, "Don't just get a regular shit. Like you're supposed to get the Sicilian."
Don't just get. I'll
And
have
the
a
waiter
pizza.
didn't even fucking bless him with anything. The waiter just gave him like a regular pizza pie, which I'm sure was banging, but it wasn't their staple. You know, like he almost did everything right. Like he went to the right restaurant, ordered
That's
pizza.
a big fuck up at the end, son.
Yeah,
That's a
got
huge
the
fuck
wrong
up.
shit.
Well, there's that place called Sal's in I think it's Harrison, and they have famous Sicilian. Get this. This blew my mind. They get so much business there that they don't I think it's straight cash. They don't accept any credit card, anything like that, and they don't deliver. Having a pizza place that doesn't deliver is like fucking like what? What are you talking about? But their pizza is so good, their Sicilian is so good, that they don't even deliver, and they don't fucking accept anything but cash. And that
a
shit, I
spot
can
is banging.
vouch by that shit.
Yeah. The Sal's is phenomenal, but a restaurant is banging if you go in there, and you can only just do just cash, or like you see people coming in that know about it, heard about it, and they go in there and they're like going to pay or something. They're like, "Oh, just cash, honey." And they're like, "Oh, fuck." And then usually someone will be like, "Oh, fuck that. I'll eat next door or some shit." Like next to Sal's, there's probably another pizzeria. There's mad restaurants on that block, but people find an ATM to go back in there. And like, there's a spot in Illinois, Paradise Pup. They make this hamburger so fucking good, but it's cash only. And people have gone in there and they've found out it's cash only. And the closest ATM is like a mile or two away.
And people will drive and then come back?
Yeah, people drive, come back, and get their shit.
Damn. I mean, sometimes the lines in these places, though, that's like the killer.
That sucks, yeah.
Whatever happened to, like, okay, cupcakes? I feel like cupcakes were only a thing that you can actively go out and buy at a cupcake place for a very small amount of time. You know what I mean? Like, there's very few cupcake places. Like, everybody knows there's donut shops. There's donut shops everywhere. Like, oh, you can go get donuts. But, there were a few cupcake places where you go and you get a cupcake. Like
just cupcakes?
Like, just cupcakes type shit. Maybe not 100% cupcakes, but like 85% cupcakes.
It's funny you say that because I actually went to a bakery today, and it was more of a dessert shop. But they had, like, cupcakes. And they had like brownies and other shit, but it was like a dessert shop, which was rare to find. because you probably don't find those that much anymore. But I know New York City has couple cupcake shots that have started to come back, like Baked by Melissa.
Okay.
Makes like those tiny cupcakes.
So I just looked it up now because I was trying to remember the name of the place. It was called Crumb's Bake Shop.
Crumbs, I've heard of Crumbs.
And they mostly did cupcakes. Like, they did other shit, but I think it was mostly cupcakes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they recently as in 2014, went bankrupt.
Oh, really?
Which sucks, but that's the thing, is like their thing was cupcakes. And it's like, isn't it weird how certain things take off and other things you could set up a donut shop anywhere and it'll be, you're good, but if you do a cupcake shop, like, it's not necessarily good. Like, why are donuts just a little more fucking acceptable than a cupcake shop? Because I would go to a cupcake shop.
Yeah, like, why isn't there like, why didn't Dunkin' Donuts become like Dunkin' Cupcakes?
Right, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. And I guess it's hard. There's more time that goes into making a cupcake, I feel like, because there's the actual... Yeah, but I don't know. You make the donut and you still got to put frosting and shit on top of it.
Yeah, I feel like it's about the same. Damn, I want cupcakes now because of this conversation.
I want cupcakes too. A good vanilla cupcake with like vanilla frosting on it.
What's your take on muffins?
I'm okay with them. I'm okay with muffins. They pass my... If it's like drenched in butter and warm.
Drenched in butter makes it amazing.
Yeah, it can't be some crusty ass muffin.
I actually think they're kind of underrated, muffins. I do. They don't get like any credibility. Like nobody like talks about muffins, but somebody will hit you with I had this banging donut the other day. Or even bagel. People will talk about bagels like, damn, that bagel was so good. But nobody's like, I had this muffin and it was so good. It's like, muffins are fucking delicious.
Yeah, they're sort of the forgotten about, like, what is that? Like an accessory to your coffee or some shit.
Yeah, well, I was just about to say, what would you... when I think of a muffin, I think of more of a breakfast type thing.
But, yeah, definitely breakfast.
But it's also kind of not really breakfast. Like, if somebody was having a muffin for dessert and I stopped and thought about it, I'd be like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. Like a chocolate muffin or some shit.
For dessert? Yeah, I can see that.
Because that's like fucking cake almost.
Well, there's a lot of things. Like, someone can have pancakes with whipped cream and shit on it, and that could look like a dessert.
That's exactly right. My friend was saying that the other day. He was like, that is dessert. Like, pancakes are dessert.
Yeah.
We have them for breakfast.
Meals are so mishmash now. Like, I was just going to say, if someone was eating a steak in the morning, but, like, even steak and eggs is a shit. Yeah, steak and eggs
is a thing. Yep.
Chicken and waffles is a thing.
I always liked breakfast for dinner. Did you like that? I always kind of liked that as a kid.
I never really did it too much, but, like, I mean, I guess cereal was the only shit that I had maybe at nighttime, but I wasn't... I can't really get down with making an egg omelet or something at nighttime. Like, to that extreme, you would go?
Yeah, I do. I like that. I like the breakfast for dinner idea. I remember a few times as a kid having, like, either pancakes or having, like, bacon and eggs, and I was like, this is fucking genius. I had, like, bacon and eggs and toast, and it was, like, 6:30
But then when you
night.
had it in the morning, did it not just feel like a continuation of your nighttime shit?
But that's, like, I honestly don't know if I've ever been a big breakfast eater. I feel like, because I'm not hungry when I wake up. I'm just not hungry when Are you hungry when you wake up? I'm not hungry for a while.
I'm not really hungry, but this is something I learned from my dad. He was just like, he always starts his morning off with breakfast because it's just like, that sets the tone. You know, like if you start your shit with lunch, it's almost just like you're skipping a step already. You know, it's just like there's a void that you missed. So, like, whenever we used to go somewhere and it would be like 12:30 or 1 o'clock or some shit, and he'd be like, I got to get breakfast. Just because it's like, all right, this is my day starting.
Yeah, that's true.
Or it's almost just like you skip breakfast and your shit is thrown off.
Well, what do you normally have for breakfast?
Just like a cheddar cheese omelet.
Okay, so you're better than me, because that would be like a big deal for me, because me, usually when I have breakfast, I just have like a quick protein bar, and then hours later I have lunch.
Oh, yeah, no, that'll work. I mean, like, as long as you fucking check off that breakfast, like, column.
Yeah, but if it's a protein bar, it's like nothing. You know what I mean? It's just like a fucking little thing. It's almost like I'm not a breakfast person and I don't like to eat right when I wake up. So it's almost like I'm just like I got to get like some fuel in my body. So let me just have this and get it out of the way type shit.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. Sometimes like a fucking piece of gum does that for me. Like I could just have a piece of gum and be like, all right, I'm good for that meal.
Well, I think that's like tricks your body a little bit because when you start chewing, like your stomach's like, okay, we're gonna start digesting something now, and there's just nothing there, but like your body's getting the impression that you just ate something.
Yeah, it's probably faking out your brain like, hey, I'm chewing on some shit, so now you're supposed to do the rest with our body right now.
Yeah, exactly. And then you
And then
start
nothing,
shitting
like-
air.
I used to swallow gum all the time, but now I'm sort of like more cautious when I do it, but I still do it.
I was gonna say, were you actively choosing to do it, or you just would do it by accident?
No, I would just do it, I feel like, when I was younger because it was just like easier, I guess, to do.
That's rebellious as fuck. I feel like I've accidentally swallowed gum like once or twice in my life, and I was like semi-panicked. I was like, "What the fuck just happened?"
Oh, really? I feel like, because I feel like you weren't allowed. Were you allowed to? I don't think we were allowed to chew gum in like class.
Yeah, I don't think we were either. And you're not allowed to wear hats either, right? Wasn't that a thing?
Yeah, why is that? Oh, that reminded. Did you see the girl? They made her cover up her nipples or something at school.
Oh, I saw a headline that was like she wasn't wearing a bra, so they made
She didn't wear a bra.
So they told her she has to fucking put what was it like something over her nipples,
cardboard or some shit or something. But yeah, they're like,
So
I don't
who the
get the
fuck-
hat thing. Like, is hat disrespectful?
Who
Like,
the fuck was grilling her nipples? Who's like a teacher who was like, "Sorry, you're gonna have to cover your nipples." Like, could you imagine having the nerve to go up to this young girl and be like, "Listen, your nipples are showing too much through your shirt." It's like, you're the fucking perv here,
yeah.
telling me to go cover it up. How about you stop looking at my fucking nipples, bitch?
So you could probably have that case with like the first teacher that fucking called her out on that shit. She'd be
Yeah,
like,
because
you obviously looked at a little girl's nipples, so
Son,
now you're going to get.
if
chopped more
there's a
up.
fucking high school girl and you and I are at a high school for whatever reason, and there's a high school girl and like her nipples are showing through her shirt, on what fucking planet would any reasonable person go, "You're gonna have to do something about that"? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Mind your fucking business, bitch.
But what's so strange is guys don't wear bras. If it's cold as shit outside, my nipples are showing through my shirt.
Yeah, they're just not viewed as sexual. Male
what's the
nipples are not
difference?
viewed as sexual.
Which is,
It is weird. It's.
I remember hats
Wait,
was a thing, but
why-
then also
Why do
girls
men
couldn't
have
wear,
nipples? I don't even know. That's a question many people have asked before.
we would just look strange as fuck without nipples.
We would look pretty funny without nipples. We'd look like some sort of alien.
They have to do something for males. I mean, like there has to be a purpose for male nipples.
Yeah, it's got to be something, but I don't know what it is. Let me Google this.
What is the purpose of male nipples?
Why do men have nipples? What a ridiculous thing to Google. Okay, let's see. Why do men have nipples? Live science. That's a legit source right there.
That sounds legit. Damn, Yankees are getting fucking demolished.
Are they good this year? Probably not, right?
They're supposed to be the best team, but they're sucking it up. They're down 14-1.
Let's see. Men, wow, 14-1 is terrible. Men can't nurse babies, so why on earth do they have nipples? The answer has to do with how humans develop in the womb, said Ian somebody, expert. Basically, males and females are all built from the same genetic blueprint. Then they develop in slightly different directions in utero. And particularly, oh, that's right. Okay, so maybe, I think we all start out as girls, right? And then we grow like through.
Seriously?
Yeah, we do. And then I think through what is it? Our chromosomes, like your penis comes out. Like, am I making sense? For all the science people listening, I think that makes sense. They say during the first several weeks, male and female embryos follow the same blueprint, which includes the development of nipples. However, at about 6 to 7 weeks of gestation, a gene on the Y chromosome induces changes that lead to the development of the testes, the organ that makes and stores sperm and produces testosterone. And after the testes are formed, testes is a hilarious word. Let's just get that out of the way right now. The male fetus begins producing testosterone at about 9 weeks of gestation, changing the genetic activity of cells in the genitals and brain. But by then, those nipples aren't going anywhere. Okay, yes, that's right. We all basically start out as girls, and since that's
So
the
that
case,
could be like some Caitlyn Jenner shit where it's just like they I don't know, they didn't transform fully or some shit, where they still
who
are.
women?
No, like a Caitlyn Jenner where it's like they're really a girl, but
Oh yeah,
in
I
a
mean,
in a guy's body.
obviously that's a thing, right? Like
Yeah.
there are people who feel 100% like they know that they're the opposite sex.
Yeah, like
So
the
that's
process
definitely a
didn't complete
thing.
for them.
How that becomes a thing, I don't know. Does it have something to do with whatever gestation and that early period? Maybe it could, for
Yeah,
sure.
it's wild.
Yeah, it is. That's interesting. But there you go. Men have nipples and they're utterly useless.
But yeah, but back to the like school thing. I remember girls weren't allowed to wear like super short shorts was a thing in middle school. I remember.
And then in high school, I don't know if they fucking enforced that. Did they? I don't think they did.
No, probably not, because I remember I think some girls wearing short shorts. But yeah, hats, which never understood.
Yeah, hats you could wear, just not in class, right? Or no, in the building. They didn't want you to wear hats.
No, not even in the building. Yeah, which I don't get either.
It feels arbitrary, but I mean, there's got to be something, right? Like, so you could hide a weapon under there or some shit. Like, I don't know what they were thinking, but
Yeah, those rules
But, I
are
mean,
so
you could,
stupid.
yeah, you could hide a fucking weapon under your shirt.
Like if you go to a beach shop or some shit and it's just like no shoes or no shirt, you don't get service. But like, what the fuck? I got my pants on with money in the pocket, so let me just buy some shit.
especially at a beach, it's like
Yeah,
we're at a beach. Nobody has fucking, that stuff on them.
but like you could go to Chipotle without a shirt on in just like some regular suburban area and get like a burrito. There's no sign that says no shooter, no shirt.
That's interesting. I wonder what would happen if somebody were to do that. Like, there's no
It
sign.
would just be weird. Yeah.
It would be weird, but there's no sign. I mean,
Can they deny you service? I don't know.
they have the right if they want to, but I don't know if they would. They might just be like, okay.
Here's your shit.
Yeah.
I think there's also an unwritten rule too where you can't walk up to a drive-through window. But like, is that a real rule?
It's a rule because they make it a rule. Like, they could just deny you service because they don't want you walking up there. You know what I mean? But there's no law. It's not like there's a law that says you can't walk up to a drive-through thing. And if they're being cool about it, like, I feel like I've seen that late at night at McDonald's where a dude would just walk up to that shit and they would be like, all right, whatever.
Yeah. Dunkin' Donuts started doing in New York City. They had walk-up windows
That's pretty awesome. Wait,
on the corners.
Did I read something correct the other day? Is McDonald's delivering now? I gotta look.
I think
this
they
up.
started doing that a fucking minute ago.
But not in this area.
Oh, you're about to call them up.
No, I'm not right now. But if they deliver, you bet your ass I'll call them up at some point. Yeah, McDelivery. Order online food delivery.
Everything's going that route.
Oh,
like
Uber Eats. It's through Uber Eats.
Oh, I don't know how to use that shit.
I
I
don't
never
either.
learned how to use that shit.
I have no idea. Thank you. See, you're exactly like me. It's like the simplest shit in the world, and people who already do it look at you like you're an idiot. But I'm like,
Yeah.
that's right. I'm an idiot. I don't
I don't know how to
learn
use that shit. Spotify, I don't know how to use any of that shit. Like
Yeah.
some new program, I don't know. Like there was at my grocery store that I go to, just like a regular grocery store. So I don't know how they were like getting with like the technology times. There was like 5 or 10 parking spots like right in the front, and they all had like freshly new paint on it, and it said like this website that I guess you can do online shopping.
Mm-hmm.
And like the spot I go to, they cook the meat for you and all this shit. So my wife was like, you should just go on that website and try and see if they can cook the meat for you. And I was like, even when I go to the grocery store, they don't want to cook the shit for me. Like I go up to the counter and I'm like, here you go, can you cook this, blah blah. And like they have to, they're supposed to, but there's never anybody working there, and you got to wait for 5 minutes for someone to come up or some shit. So I was like, that website definitely doesn't work, and I'm not going through the trouble of like trying to get my meat cooked on that website, and then it's not, and then I gotta, so I could park in a better spot. Like,
Yeah, I'm having a similar experience right now with my registration expired on my car, and so I was like, "Fuck you," because I didn't get the new one in the mail. I was supposed to get the new one in the mail, and so I go on the website, and the DMV website. I take like an hour to fucking figure out how to do it. But I do it. I successfully do it, where I get the new registration. I order the new registration, and I pay, too. Okay? and I still haven't gotten the new fucking registration in the mail, and it's like OD late. Like it's
that's annoying.
It was supposed to come within 10 days. It's been like 18 days. It's not here. And then I'm like, okay, then fuck you. Fuck you. Then I'm not having a registration. Because it's like, wait a second. They were supposed to automatically send it so that I could just put the new shit on my car. But they didn't automatically send it. Then I fucking went to the shit to be like, no, you send it, and here's the money. And then they still didn't fucking send it yet. So what am I supposed to do? I'm not gonna I don't even
you
know
can't tell that to a cop if he pulls you over. That whole shit. He's gonna be like,
I'll tell that
okay,
motherfucker that story. I'll get out of that ticket. I will get out of that ticket. I'll be like, listen, here's the deal, son.
Shit. You ain't getting out of that ticket.
I'll be like, listen, here's the deal, dog. Put yourself in my shoes real quick. Listen to this. They were supposed to send it, right? He'll be like, yeah, they are supposed to send it. I'll be like, listen, they didn't send it. And then I went out of my way and took a fucking hour in order to get them to send it, and I fucking paid, and they still didn't send it in the fucking mail, dog. You believe that shit?
How many times do you think a cop has heard that argument where it's just like, if that dude just went and did the shit he was supposed to do.
But that's the point, is I did do what I was supposed to do. I did do what I was supposed to do. That's the point. That's why this shit is like so obnoxious. It's not like they didn't send it and then I was like, all right. And then I didn't do shit. It's like they didn't send it and I was like, okay, I got to be responsible and I got to get this shit. And then you go through the fucking process online, which, by the way, they want you to do it online because they don't want fucking endless lines at the DMV. So they want you to do it online. I go and do it online. They didn't fucking send it. And it's like, all right, well, then fuck you. How about that?
You had traceable, like proof that you did all that shit in time and they didn't send it?
I definitely have some proof. Like, I definitely have either an email that's a confirmation email from the DMV, or I can just show on my credit card statement the payment that went through. Like, I have fucking proof for that shit.
I feel like the court system is just like so fucked up with that little parking type of shit where, like, even if you go and try and fight those things and have all the ammo,
it's not worth it.
It's not like they've gone through so many bullshit where they're just like actually most of the time they do chop it down. Like, so I think I got to
chop it down, but you still got to pay the fucking court charge, like fucking $50 or some shit,
and go to the court.
And the amount of time, the amount of time it takes you to go there, you lose a full day of work. So it's like, so like they, you won in that you fucking the ticket was $150. Now you only have to pay the $50 court charge or whatever it is. Yeah. But guess what? You just missed a full day of work, and you lost however much money you would have made in a full day of work. So it's just
you're fucked either way.
Yeah.
I once went to a courthouse, and it was in Rochester, New York, and Rochester's pretty hood, but it was like some of the cases that I heard. I was there with my wife's like brother was there for a parking ticket or some shit. There was like dudes like with guns with like there was some bad shit going on. I was just like,
in the courthouse?
No, not dudes with guns in the courthouse. Like the cases that they heard.
Oh, well, I was on a criminal jury not that long ago.
Oh, you had jury duty?
Yeah, I had jury duty.
I've never gotten that shit. I'm not scared to say like, oh, I'm gonna get jury duty. Like, I don't think they have my contact information for jury duty.
They have everybody's contact information. Yeah, I did it. It was probably 2.5, 3 years ago now.
You just got a letter in the mail or some shit?
Yeah, you just get a letter and they're like, you've been called in for jury duty. And what people say is you should go and then act kind of off. And if you act off, they'll dismiss you from doing the.
You just say like you're racist as fuck or some shit, and they're just like, all right, you're out of here.
Yeah, you say some shit and make them go like, okay, this guy's not going to work. So I went, and that was I was kind of thinking like that, but at the same time, I was like, I don't really care if I have to fucking do this, but I would, whatever, I'd still like to get out of it. But so I remember that there was like a list of questions, you had to answer the questions, but they said at the beginning, like, okay, you don't have to read the thing and then answer, you could just answer, because people were going, what's my name? My name is, Jennifer, whatever. And then they go, whatever. Where do you live? Oh, I live in blah, blah, blah. So people would read the question and then give the answer. And
you're talking to a person, like they're interviewing you.
So you're in the courtroom. You're in the courtroom. A bunch of people there. The judge is up there. and like, you know, whatever. It's like a regular courtroom with a whole bunch of people.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they say like, okay, just answer the question, like go down the line. And then every single person was going like, okay, where are you from? What's your job? Yada, yada. And then they would read the question and then give their answer.
Mm-hmm.
And then it got to me, and I was like, well, they said you don't have to read the question. You could just give the answers. So I just gave all the answers. I went boom, 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 boom. I was like, Kyle Kalinske, at the time, whatever, 27 years old. Hey, you just go down. I just went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then, so I was thinking, they're definitely not going to pick me because I was like, boom, 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 boom. But they picked me. And they picked me because of that shit. Because I was the only one that fucking followed directions.
Well, normally, if you ever do an interview or some shit like that, they usually say like, well, because they're usually recording you and the person isn't usually on camera asking the question. So they normally say like, repeat the question back as you're, you know, like, oh, like when we used to do basketball videos or something like that, I would ask them the question and then like just want their answer. Because doing like some documentary type of shit and be like, where'd you used to play ball growing up or something like that? And they'd be like, I used to play ball growing up, and then like you get your question within their answer. So maybe that's what they're looking for. But I guess on the jury, you're all answering the same fucking question, so you know what the fuck everyone's gonna be answering.
Yeah. So
you did the right shit where they're like, this guy's smart.
I was the only one that did it, yeah. And I feel like I even got a laugh out of them for something. Like I made everybody laugh in the courtroom. But I wasn't trying.
Killed somebody.
I wasn't trying to make anybody laugh, but they laughed. So now here's the part that pissed me the fuck off, though, is that it was a criminal case. Mm-hmm. The case was now that it's over, I could talk about it. When you're on the jury, you can't talk about it. Like you're not allowed to tell people when you leave, like what's going on. But one dude, so it was like a stabbing basically, and they were kind of young. The kids involved, and like so the two brothers testified, and they were like showing their fucking scars and shit, showing their like, you know, where this guy slashed them or whatever. And it was like basically a long story short, there was like beef that came about between these two brothers and this one guy, and what happened was the two brothers went to that guy's house and to like jump him or some shit. And then he pulled out the knife and fucking stabbed him or whatever. And then they, you know, since they stabbed him, that kid was arrested and then he was brought up on trial. And
damn.
So, yeah, but I had strong feelings about it because to me the whole question boiled down to who initiated the force. And the people who initiated, it was the two brothers who initiated it.
And they were the ones who ultimately got stabbed?
And they're the ones who got stabbed. And it's like, well, you shouldn't have fucking tried to jump the guy. You should have not tried to fucking physically assault anybody, and then you wouldn't be stabbed. So I had really strong feelings about it. And the problem is, towards the end of the trial, when I was hear certain points made by either the prosecutor, usually by the prosecutor, I would like roll my eyes or something, or I'd be, like I was trying to hide my fucking feelings.
Yeah.
But like every now and then, I'd be like I'd hit him with something like that. Well, come to find out, I didn't know it at the time. But all the jurors that had been picked to that point, including me, what they do is they add like 2 or 3 extra jurors, and then they dismiss them as alternate jurors. So I made
like in the middle of the case or something.
No,
like
at
that?
the end of the case, they give a whole bunch of extras just in case some people don't show up. But everybody kept showing up for all of mine. So then you have extra people there, and so
How could someone not show up?
Well, because people are people, and people,
I guess.
you know, some shit happens or whatever, and then they don't show up.
Mm-hmm.
So right before it's time to do the deliberations and to figure out what the verdict is, they name me and then 1 or 2 other people, and they're like, you're alternate jurors, you go wait in that room. So I wasn't even allowed in the room that made the decision.
Like, fight your case.
To make because I was going to I was going to rock that room, son. I was going to be like, nah, here's
like
the
on
fucking...
some Johnny Cochran shit. You're like fucking, they're like, Kyle, it was just a stabbing. You're like, and that's why he did the murder. You get the guy on like murder charges.
You can't handle the truth. I'm in there fucking screaming.
They probably fucking, if you were in that shit, you definitely would have been that dude where it was like 14, yes, the brothers did it, and you were like, no, it was that guy.
Well,
and they're like, come on, man, we're trying to get the fuck out of here.
Luckily, there were like, the case went the way it should have went. He was not guilty. They found him not guilty, and like, from what my understanding is that like 4 or 5 people in the room were like not guilty, and then there were some people who were like guilty. But I think the 4 or 5 people who said not guilty were like, listen, man, he was not the one who fucking started shit. Like, you can't jump somebody and then get mad when they fucking protect themselves. Even though you could argue, hey, he went too far in protecting himself with the knife, yada, yada. But if you got 2 dudes coming at you, and then I was kind of tight that, like, the trial even got to that point. So I was like, how the fuck, why are you wasting everybody's time? This dude was jumped, and then he fucking pulled out a knife.
Defended himself, yeah.
That's not the same shit as somebody, like, walking up to people just slashing them, or, you know what I mean?
I would be a little tight if I was you. Like, you fucking went through the whole journey.
I was really tight. I was really tight. Because here I am.
Argue your point.
I'm living an episode of fucking Law and Order, watching this shit unfold. I got strong feelings on it, and then I can't even make my case.
Yeah, that got
me pissed. I was really pissed. I was like, I really wanted to talk about this with other people, because I was also curious to see what everybody else would say and to see how many people agreed with me. Because my gut was like, I honestly had a hard time imagining that anybody would find him guilty after hearing the case. I was like, there's no way you could find this kid guilty.
Cruel.
What's that?
It's cruel. It's like a fucking boxer training his ass off for like a fucking mega fight he's promised. And then his promoter just being like, nah, you were taken off the card.
Yeah, that's kind of what it felt like. It was like, I've been here, and it lasted, I think, over a week. I was there every day for like, probably like 8 or 9 days. And then they were like, sorry, like, you're an alternate juror. I was like, fuck.
That sucks. They tell you that shit at the end.
Yeah.
That sucks a lot. Like, that.
It
you
was
should
annoying.
almost get like $50 for being selected as the alternate or some shit.
And the thing is, they don't even tell you up front. Like, if they had told us up front about, like, some of you were going to be alternates or whatever,
That's what I'm saying.
I would have really tried hard to fucking hide my disgust.
But you were it was like you were selected as some, like, out of 15 people or whatever, you were one of, like, you should get something for being selected as that shit. Like a gift card or something.
No, I think they give you like a little bit of money, if I remember correctly.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how much it was, but I
you
think
should
it was like
get
a little
something
bit.
Because that's fucked up.
Yeah, it was something, but it wasn't much, but it was something. I don't remember what it was though.
They used to have these things in there were like these focus groups that would pay money to like go.
Oh, I remember those. When I was a kid, I did some of those.
I used to love. I knew somebody who was who worked for the company that like called people. Mm-hmm. So like she would always put me on, and like whenever they had a range from like whatever, it was like 18 to this or that or some shit, and I would go in and fucking like look at toothpaste like holders and shit like that, and then you just bounce. They would give you like a $200 check, but like it was hilarious because everybody's in there just like because they're on some like let's just get this shit done, let's get some money and bounce.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. So I was gonna somebody actually tweeted. I tweeted before we came on here, and I was like, "What should me and Corin talk about?" And somebody said, "Talk about jobs. Talk about the jobs you've had in your life."
Oh.
So one of the things was focus. I did a few of those focus groups when I was like a little kid. That was probably the first thing I ever got paid for. When I was like a little kid, I did the focus group things. How old were you when you did the focus groups? You were young, right?
Yeah, I'm not like super young, but probably like in high school. So probably like 16, 17, 18.
Younger than that. I feel like I did it even younger than that. Yeah.
Well, they have all different ages.
Yeah.
And now you walk through the mall, they look for certain type of people.
I don't remember how I ended up doing it. But
there was old school ways like they would just call you. You would enter on some list or some shit, and then you'd get a call. That's how I did it when I was in high school. But then the mall was a type of way too, and they would stand by the escalator, and you would walk past them, and I would always want to do that shit. And I would walk past them, I'd go up, and I'd be like, "Fuck it, let me walk past this dude again." I'd be like, "What is it? Because I'm white, just a regular white boy?" And then they would pick some lady in a wheelchair or some shit, and I'm like, fuck, man, like let me roll by in a wheelchair and get $200.
What was your first job? Was it the ice cream store?
Yeah, the ice cream store was my first shit.
Damn.
I worked there before I was even like I think eligible to like.
So that was that was your job for a long time. Did you ever have any other jobs?
No, I did that with like the Steiner Sports like memorabilia shit, but that was always the ice cream shop was always my shit. That's why it was like so fucking close to my heart. Because I'd been there since I was like, I spent my whole life at that shit.
Yeah, that's so true. Oh my God, that's crazy. Because I was thinking of For me, the different jobs I've had, holy shit.
You've had a lot of jobs.
I've
From what I remember, you might have had some more shit before. Like,
I had a lot of jobs. So the first job I had was at the driving range, the golf range.
I remember that.
That
That was
was
an ideal job for you.
right next to where I used to live, and I could just walk over there. And just like you, I think I started working there when I was like legally like 1 year too young or something to
Yeah.
work. But
Yeah, I don't know if they still do off the books type of shit, or is that like a throwback?
Well, I know that eventually I was on the books at the golf range, but get this, when I worked there, so for all the people who are younger who are listening to us, and when I say younger, I mean like if you're in your teens or whatever and you're listening to this, when I worked at the golf range, the driving range, I made $5.15 an hour.
Yeah, and you weren't it wasn't like you were a waiter getting tipped or some shit
Nope,
like that.
it was
what
just
people were
$5.15
making.
an hour. Yeah, it was $5.15 an hour. And basically what I would do is when they're done hitting their golf balls, I go and I walk down and I got this like little push cart thing, and you take the baskets that the golf balls were in, the empty baskets, and you put it on the push cart and you just fill it up with all the baskets. And that was one of the things I did. One of the things I liked doing was called the tour, we called it, where what that is you walk around the perimeter of the entire golf range and you take the golf balls that are like by the fence and you use this little like stick basically to throw the golf balls back to like the middle of the field so that when the cart comes around to pick them up, it could actually get to it.
Did you ever get to drive the cart?
I never got to drive that, but that guy didn't let anybody drive it. It was just him. Like the owner himself was the only one who drove it.
He sounds like that sounds like a dick move.
He was a little bit of a tight ass, that guy. He was very...
But also, to his defense, that thing is probably like some Zamboni type of shit where like they're not letting anybody just jump in that shit and ride it. Like you got to have some credentials to be driving those things.
I think it was just like an old ass like pickup truck looking type thing basically. So he was just a tight ass, but everybody knew he was a tight ass. He was he was a big time perfectionist basically. And what's funny is that he sold the driving range, I think it was in like 2006, and he sold it to this guy who developed it and put expensive homes in that area. And then
a lot of land.
A year after that happened, subprime mortgage crisis, Great Recession. I don't know how many they sold, but they couldn't sell that many. And then whoever bought that land, like it was like a year after he sold the driving range and got good money for it, the person who bought the land and built the houses inherited like the worst economy. And that guy fucking probably went bankrupt off that shit. But I remember working there, $5.15 an hour. That was my first job. Then I did...
Let me ask you, was it frowned upon when people who sucked at golf... Because when I always used to hit the thing, it would go like nowhere, and I would always try and reach for that shit out. Would your boss always be like, watch for people getting...
He was a tight ass
balls?
with that.
Yeah.
He was a tight ass with that, where if you step on the grass, he'll go out there and be like, off the grass.
Oh, really?
He was very strict about that. And even
I used to be nervous doing it.
Even when nobody was there, like when nobody was there, I would take my club or whatever and go out there and hit some golf balls. But if he pulls up and he sees you hitting it, he'd be pissed. And we'd be like, nobody's fucking here.
Yeah, that's annoying.
And then I remember one time, years after I had worked there, I went there with like my dad before some like golf event, and he didn't give us free balls. Like that's some cheap shit. Like I had worked there for years.
Yeah.
And he didn't even bless you with like an $8 bucket. Like he was like,
annoying.
He would charge us, and we were like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That's how he was. But so I worked there for a long time, probably for a few years. And then I did caddying. Did you ever caddy or no?
I woke up early to go caddying, but never got called out because I was too skinny and weak looking.
I was skinny and weak looking too, but I got out somehow.
But you knew the game probably, and you probably like had interactions with the caddy master or whatever. I don't even know who ran this shit.
And I used to suck up. Like the main rule back then when you're like a little scrawny kid is just suck up to the fucking members, basically.
Oh, for sure.
You just suck up to them, and that's it. And then they'll bless you. And that was actually good money. Like caddying was good money.
There used to be grown-ass, old-ass men doing that shit. Like, old-ass men. And I was like, this must be good money if this dude is still waking up doing this shit.
It was like, back then, it's like you would get maybe $150 for, 4 or 5 hours of work. Sometimes it was maybe 6, but
And then they had that shit where you would just carry putters.
that was the other shit. That was the easier days where
But I don't get that. Where would the bags be?
they would have carts. So they have
Oh.
a cart, but they're making... See, with some clubs, they have rules where if it's like a private golf club, those are usually like kind of uppity and like, you know, they think they're the shit and they make a lot of money at those places and stuff. So what they do is they have rules where you have to take a caddy if you go and golf between a certain time frame. Okay? So when they do that, some of these guys like to take carts anyway. So if you need to take a caddy, but you want a cart, well then what's the caddy going to fucking do? Well, there's a few things they do. Number one is they'll go out there and try to track where your ball goes. They'll be a 4 caddy basically. But then also they'll give you the putter. Like when you're, when they're on the green, you give them the putter. And that's
so
pretty
you don't
much
actually you have to hold the putter the whole time?
You have to hold the putter, just when they're not using it, basically.
Yeah.
And they only use it on the green. So
Yeah.
those were the easier days, but you get paid less for if you just do, if you do a loop with just a putter, just holding a putter,
really?
you get paid less for that.
You ever have any dudes tell you to like kick their ball back into play or some shit?
No, never had that.
No.
That's like the old school like stereotype of fucking golfers who are like super rich and like
I feel like
snobby.
I heard those conversations a couple of times. Like I had John told me to kick it back into play or some shit.
Yeah, maybe if somebody's a real full-time caddy and they get to know certain players and like that's their guy, like, oh, this guy always picks me to be his caddy, then yeah, you get to know a guy enough, and if that's the kind of person that they are, yeah, they'll probably tell the caddy like, I'll slip you an extra 40 if you fucking hook it up in some circumstances. Yeah. But yeah, I never saw any of that. But so it was mostly golf jobs early on. That explains maybe why I like golf today, or has a lot to do with it. But then also I worked at like a pharmacy type shit, like a CVS type shit. I did that. I remember
that shit.
That was kind of miserable, actually, looking back at it.
Yeah, but that was a short amount of time.
That was a short amount of time. It wasn't a lot. It was like a summer job type shit.
Yeah.
Then there was another one where I worked at. It was my mom's friend who's a realtor, and she was trying to sell these units in like this apartment building type thing.
Oh, that's rough.
No. But what I got to do is all I had to do was sit at the front desk and greet people when they come in.
Oh, that's not bad.
And that shit actually paid pretty well.
You didn't have to file shit or do some shit? Because usually,
maybe I had to file something or whatever, but I don't remember doing much of it.
I feel like there's jobs that like are super easy like that, but then like the person who's paying you the money eventually, after some time, will be like, he's got it too easy. I'm gonna just make this shit hard for him. And they're like, yeah, you're supposed to just greet people, but now you can organize this whole shit. And you're like, what the fuck?
Well, that kind of happened, but then it got to the point where she just let me go because I wasn't doing shit. I was just
but your job sounded like it wasn't to be doing some shit.
Yeah, it was like a college job, and it was like once a week I did it, but I was there enough hours where it wasn't bad money. But that was the easiest job I ever had. And then there were other jobs too. I don't remember. Oh, I worked at as a waiter at like a catering place for a while. Remember that?
Oh, yeah, I drove past that. Yeah, Giuliano's.
Yeah, I worked there.
Everybody, I feel like, in high school worked at that shit. I feel like people at every one of their high schools, there's like a local spot that everybody knows where, they work or something like that. Like.
So that's a lot. How many did I name? I named fucking one.
Yeah, you had a lot of jobs.
Yeah, I don't remember obviously car salesman when I graduated with my political science degree, and I didn't know what the fuck to do for a while.
I feel like people don't have odd jobs like that shit anymore.
No, they do. People definitely do. You don't think they do?
Not really.
What the fuck are people going to do? I mean, think about it. Our entire generation graduated into a shitty economy. So, like, what are people doing? They're doing whatever the fuck they can do. But
there's no more like that driving range you worked at was like just there was a fucking old dude who ran the shit and that was his spot. Like now if there's a driving range, it's like a Top Golf or some shit like that.
I see what you're saying. You're saying everything is corporatized and none of it's like a business that's owned by just a few dudes.
Yeah, like I worked at an ice cream shop with a dude who owned it and like it wasn't like and that's how you learn shit. Like you spoke to your boss who owned the shit and like
it's not like some asshole in the fucking it's super
like you're working
rich.
at Top Golf, you're like, here, take an extra set of things. I don't know who fucking runs this spot. Where it's like you're working at your shit, you got the guy like kind of you're paying. there's no jobs like that anymore unless you work in some like small town Nebraska like sneaker store or
And
some shit like.
and they're losing it there too. I mean, that's the thing is like with
Yeah.
that's why people shit on Walmart all the time is because there's these big retailers that move into towns and then all the other fucking places go out of business immediately. So yeah,
But that, I mean, is like that was a good way for like when I see, I mean, like I get a little starstruck with like celebrities and shit like that. Like I like that. I'm like not nervous, but I can go up to them and say some shit. But like when I see like a CEO or someone who's high up in a job, I'm just like, he's just a normal human being. Like he's scratching his balls. He's going home to his wife or some shit. Like because where I've worked, I've spoken to the owners and I've like understood the grind and like I know that he's like in like struggling, pissed off, angry about some shit, some regular shit, you know?
Yeah,
Like outside of that, like you probably saw with the owner too, like how the books are bad today. Like we need to fucking sell a lot of buckets today. And it's so like, so when you talk to corporate people or some shit, you're like, I've dealt with some dude like this before who's owned some shit. Whereas people don't have those interactions anymore where they go into interviews and it's just like, that's the CEO of the company. Like,
yeah,
it's all the decisions. Like,
it doesn't. It's
doing
not
that shit anymore.
It doesn't feel like there's no comfort level. There's no homey feeling to it. That's not the right way to describe it. It's just not. It feels really detached and cold and like there's like a higher up elite class that owns everything, and then everybody else is working for them, as opposed to people having their own little thing and then, you know, making it work somehow.
That's why I used to like going to the 7-Eleven. There was one in Scarsdale, like right on the corner. And the people who owned the shit lived right above the shit. So I was like, all right.
Yeah, that's kind of awesome. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And that's, I mean, a lot of delis in New York City, like those dudes, they're not making a lot of money. Like, what are you going in there and buying fucking 25-cent Swedish fish? Like, there's fucking a deli on every single block in New York City. I never understood how any of those make money. Because literally, in New York City, there's a fucking deli, and then 2 stores down, there'll be a deli selling the same exact shit.
And the rent's got to be through the fucking roof.
The rent's, they're in the fucking middle of like Harlem or wherever. Like, any rent in New York City. And they're all selling the same shit.
That's a good point. I never thought about that.
Like Starbucks, they could have 20 right next to each other because it's the same fucking owner.
But at least they're mom and pop owned, man. That's the thing that's good. Like, that's...
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's great. It's like... And maybe, who knows, maybe they eke out whatever.
They're not eking out shit. They're... I mean, like, how do they make money?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends on exactly which deli we're talking about and which convenience store and which location and all that stuff. But that's the thing is, like, when you have the neighborhood spot, like, it's like Joey Diaz always talks about when he was growing up in fucking New Jersey. It's like they knew the places everybody went. It was this place and this place and this place, and anybody in that neighborhood, you want a sandwich, you go to fucking Sammy's Deli, who you know. Sammy knows your dad, and you know fucking the kid, and everybody. And if anybody in the neighborhood was struggling, you fucking all go you all pitch in and help out and shit like that. It doesn't feel like that now.
No, and if there is a spot like that, if there is a driving range still that like where you work, that shit definitely sucks. And like if you need to rent a club, like I would need to, I'm not bringing my set of clubs.
They have one from 1999.
Yeah. So it's like you go there and you're like, fuck this place, man. I'd rather go to a Top Golf where that shit is lighting the fuck up and like spewing scores at me and competing and getting drinks. Like
you get a better product, but you also lose that small business, homey, comfortable feeling.
Yeah.
So it's a trade-off.
That's what I'm saying. I want to support that shit, but then I go there and I'm like, fuck this shit because it sucks. Or it's way more expensive.
Yeah, sometimes that is the case. That does.
They gotta even the shit out and be like, we'll charge double, but we're still. There was a bowling alley in Ardsley. I think it was called like Scrappy's or some shit like that.
I fucking love bowling, man.
But it was like 2 lanes at the bottom of like some fucking restaurant or some shit, and this shit was around for ages. I don't know if it still might be there, but it might have been like the world's oldest fucking bowling alley or some shit.
I fucking love bowling. I haven't been bowling in years, but every time I bowl, I think like I should do this more often.
Yeah, bowling's awesome. It's underrated. That and ping pong.
Yeah,
There's
ping
a lot
pong's
of
under.
good
But you
players
could,
out there.
I feel like you could stumble across a ping pong player who will fuck you up because that.
Oh, for sure. I thought
Yeah.
I was nice.
But bowling, I feel like everybody's kind of on the same level. Like unless somebody's in a league or some shit, and you know to avoid those motherfuckers. Like everybody else, like any of your friends who you could think of right now, they're gonna about do the same as you
Yeah.
at bowling. So like
Yeah,
you
maybe
go there.
someone gets a 215 or like a 19 or 170 or some shit.
So you go there and you know, like, okay, we're gonna do like some competition shit, and it's like we're in the ball game here. Like
Yeah.
it's not like other like if we go golfing, you know, like you, me,
Someone's
and
clearly
Henry
gonna
or
be
something.
better.
Yeah, like we know who's gonna win, and but if we go, all of us go bowling,
Yeah.
nobody knows who the fuck is gonna win.
Yeah, no one's on some like PBA shit or something
Yeah,
where
no,
like
none of
yeah,
us.
yeah.
And that's I feel like that's most like groups of friends. It's like you want to go
Yeah.
bowling, and everybody thinks like I actually could fucking maybe win this, but
Yeah.
like it's
And you're still having fun where you're
and
like
you're having fun. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And I've
I
never
used to- yeah.
once been bowling where at the end of it I wasn't like, yo, let's do one more fucking thing.
yeah. No,
Every
bowl-
time I've ever gone bowling, I've been like, "Okay, let's do one more."
Yeah, and you usually bowl till like 2 in the morning where you're like the spot's closing down and you're like, all right, that was fun. Our night's like we're good now. Like
Yeah.
there's nothing else we have to do.
Where
I
was
used
that?
to always feel good because I could spin the ball. So
Oh.
like people would show me love.
Yeah, that's actually pretty beast.
But then like someone like my brother would come through or something like that, like a stronger dude, and they would just throw it straight with a lot of power.
That's me.
And the
I
whole
throw it straight.
Yeah. And they would use a heavy ball or some shit and the whole shit would go down.
And so you're
So,
like,
like-
here I am spinning it, but I'm not scoring as well.
Yes. Yes.
I made a point of trying to throw a straight ball because I didn't know, like, because I feel
But you
like
can't hit it directly on. It's got to hit like
you got to hit a little. I always aim a little to the right, and
Mm-hmm.
then I don't do terribly. But you're like, obviously, what the pros do is they fucking curve it. They have the right to
Yeah.
left on it.
Yeah.
But that I feel like that requires a lot of time and practice and cultivation, which is why I'm like, I'm not even gonna try to pretend like I'm a pro here. I'm just gonna fucking throw a straight ball, and that'll probably be me doing the best I can.
Yeah, I mean it's just easy because you can get there's no if you could do it that way, you're getting the same amount of points as someone who could fucking spin it like ping pong. There's an advantage to spinning because like the shit can go off the side of the like table, you know, like
Yeah, I feel like I could get frustrated very quickly. Like there are times I've played ping pong and done it with like, you know, like one of my cousins or something at some family event or whatever. My grandma from a long time ago had she passed away a while ago, but she had a ping pong table in her basement, and we would like play ping pong. But we were about the same fucking skill level. But there was one time I don't remember who I played, but I played somebody who I thought it would be like kind of the same skill level as me, and they were fucking nice. And I was like, oh well, now this isn't even remotely fun because it's not even a question. It's like it's like if I tried to play golf against Tiger Woods. Like I would just get rocked so thoroughly that it's like why are we even doing this? Like
Yeah.
we're 2 holes in and I'm already like 3 strokes down and I'm not gonna get fucking better here. So it's just like you have to have that level of like it's at least there's some question as to it being competitive or not in order to enjoy it.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So ever since then I've had a bad taste about ping pong in my mouth and I'm like I don't want to fucking
Yeah.
Like, I can get rocked.
Yeah, bowling's good in that sense because there's that max score of 300, which isn't that high.
We're not flirting with 300.
No, like unless if you are, you're not playing like with your boys, you know, like you're on the PBA tour.
Yeah.
And if you are that nice, we all know you're that nice.
It sucks that bowling never took off as like a like
I was on the bowling team,
well, that's actually pretty badass. I like that. But
like middle school.
but it sucks it never took off. Like pro bowlers probably make no money at all.
I don't know. Bowling had a peak, like because I had a bowling game for PlayStation. That was the shit. It was the fucking like dopest game, and I used to play it all the time.
I can't imagine that shit was
It was
good.
like PPA Bowl, like something.
I think of like when you mentioned that in my head, I started thinking of the World Series of Poker fucking video game, which was just so buns.
Yeah, but it had a peak where it was cool for a little bit.
Nah, it was cool when it came out and we were all like, yo, I got the game. And then after the third time everybody played it, we were like, this is retarded.
They had it for Xbox, right? Yeah, because
No, they had it for PlayStation too. Oh, probably for Xbox too.
Yeah,
They probably
yeah,
released it for
yeah.
everything. Because poker hit a peak where everybody was like, oh my god, poker's fucking great. But it
Yeah.
was just such a shitty game. Like, it was so bad.
It was no fun because you could just go all in all the time. Like there's no consequences, you know.
Well,
Like
that's the thing is like, and why at the time that we were playing that game, it was possible to play online poker for actual money. So
Yeah.
why would you play this shitty fucking PlayStation or Xbox game when you could just play for fucking $5 online?
yeah, there used to be. We used to go to this hotel in Orlando, Florida. There was a blackjack table in the restaurant. It was like a pub or some shit, and there was a blackjack table, but it wasn't for real. Like you would pay real money. You'd pay $20, get chips, but you don't win money. And I used to love that shit because you could play at any age. But like now I remember
What a
like
waste
older
of
people
time.
playing that shit. That's what turned me into like a fucking degenerate I am. But I'm thinking like there was older people there who could go and gamble legally. Like why are you doing this shit
We went on,
for free?
me, my mom, and my sister went on a trip when I think I was like 17 years old. We went to Puerto Rico.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a casino at the place we were staying. And, or was I 17 or was I like 20? I don't remember. Either I was one of those, okay? But we were at the place, and whatever the minimum age was to gamble, I was 1 year younger than that.
Oh,
No, but wait. The story fucking gets really good though. So, but I was playing cards at this casino in Puerto Rico. And then I think I had thought the entire time that I was old enough to play, and nobody fucking carded me or anything. But I had mentioned it at one point in like casual conversation how old I was, and the dealer was like, "You have to be 20, like whatever it was. You have to be 21, and I was 20, or you have to be 18, and I was 17, whatever the fuck it was." And I was like, "Oh shit!" And this was after I had won a big pot.
oh.
But she was like, I got you. So
That's
she
what's
blessed
up.
me. She blessed me. She was like,
That's
"Shh,
what's up.
I won't say shit." And so then I ended up cashing out. I won a decent amount of money on that trip. I was up like $500.
Oh,
I went on a fucking like family vacation and gambled just a little bit and fucking was $500.
yeah, that's probably such a good feeling. I've done that a couple of times when I've gone to Vegas. I've been with a crew and won like a couple thousand, and like
Oh,
everyone was like, "Holy shit!" And I was like, "Yeah,
was it blackjack or was it poker?
yeah, blackjack was my shit."
Yeah, you like when you go to the casino, you like doing blackjack usually.
Yeah, like have won big a lot, and then one time in Vegas, I'd won really big, and just started giving it all back.
I think I remember that. I think you were texting me and you were like,
Like I had one
"What?
big. Like
I just had all this money and now it's gone."
I got fucked over because like they give you the free drinks, and I was drinking liquor, and I didn't think it was really
Oh.
adding up on me.
Oh,
And then it just started
rookie
smacking
mistake.
me, and I was just betting like $500 hands, like
What?
trying to get. Yeah, I was going.
$500 hands? That's fucking
Yeah, I was getting
nuts.
stupid, like because
$500.
I'd won a couple thousand I hit like seven, like I'd hit three of a kind, but I played like some side bet with the blackjack where you can get like if your car, it's weird.
That
Yeah,
sounds
nah,
like it's way too complicated, especially when you're drunk.
It happened so fast that when I left, I was almost just like, all right, just forget that you even had that much money.
That's what you were telling me. I feel like I
Yeah.
remember. I feel like I remember this.
Oh,
Damn, man. That
it's such a rush, but it's a bad rush.
I mean, you know my thing. I like playing Hold'em tournaments, Texas Hold'em tournaments. I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not good at cash games, so I don't like playing cash games as much. But
Yeah.
I don't play anymore. Like I wish I played at least once a year or some shit,
Yeah.
you know? But I feel like at least once in our lives we have to try to find a way into that fucking World Series of Poker main event. Well, main event I feel like is just stupid big now. Like it's
Yeah.
just dumb big. Like
Yeah.
it's so big that it's like you have no chance.
You'll get knocked out by some dummy who's just
Yeah.
like got money to blow. Like
So-
it's those satellite tournaments.
That's what I was
that
gonna
are,
say.
like,
Maybe
you could
one
still
of
win
the
a bracelet.
smaller World Series events or whatever. One point in our lives, we got to try that shit. I feel like that's one of the things, like,
Yeah.
before I die, I want to check that box. Like,
Yeah.
playing a World Series of Poker fucking thing. Remember
Yeah.
the World Poker Tour from back in the day? I remember we used to watch those shits on, like, the Travel Channel.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I wonder if that's still a thing, like the World Poker Tour. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was a big thing back
It was
in
big
the day.
back then. I don't know if I see
that
it.
shit even had a video game also.
What? They had
that
different
had a
poker
video
video
game, too.
games?
Yeah, they had different poker.
Now, like, we look at that and we're like, that's so, like, why would you not either gamble online because I was available at the time, or now, if you're an adult and you're, like, no adult would ever play those games. Like, you would just go gamble.
Yeah. Those were the shits back in the day.
So, did you see the Mark Zuckerberg?
Yeah, I watched a little of it. He's not a real person. Like,
I love so many of the. I was retweeting this shit out of so many tweets.
I haven't been on really all over Twitter today, but I saw
people are going in on
he was,
him.
like, drinking water.
Yeah, there was a tweet I retweeted that was like, it had in quotes like, "Sip the water. Humans like water." And you see him like.
It was very strange. Even, I mean, just the way he answered the questions is like he doesn't seem real. It's
he wanted
scary.
to be president
He's like a
not
lizard
that
or
long ago. He wanted to be president. He was going to fucking Iowa and Ohio and like eating with regular people and acting like I care about your plight and all that shit.
What I don't get is though, like, yeah, Facebook was like letting people advertise and all this shit that might have been fake, but like. They're just a fucking business like everybody else. Like, why can't, like, what the fuck? Like, why is everybody so against Facebook? Like,
well, I think that company, Cambridge Analytica or whatever the fuck it was data mining. So, like, they were stealing people's shit.
But it was all information that is provided by people. Like, they
yeah,
weren't...
that was my counterpoint, too. It's like, well, you're on, it's almost like the name of Facebook should be, give away all of your privacy book or something.
Yeah.
And then people give away all their privacy, and then when their privacy is actually given away, they're like, I can't believe my privacy's gone. It's like, well, you just fucking gave it away.
That's what it's like. They're making such a fucking big deal out of this shit, but it's just like, people are just dumb. That's
the thing that annoyed me, though, was that the fucking, like, a lot of the questions, the underlying fucking assumptions of all these senators was like, you should do more to filter shit. Like, no, fuck off. Like, why are you begging this idiot billionaire to filter what everybody sees? Like, why would you want him to be in control of all the information flow in this country?
exactly.
So it's like it's almost like you're fucking prodding this guy. It's like, no, your whole premise is wrong. Like, you shouldn't be asking him to do shit.
He just has a business. Like, it's his business. You can't fucking like put it on him to fucking trust what the people do that are coming to his business. Like, it's on the fucking dumb.
Yeah, a lot of you could tell he really doesn't know a lot about what's going on, and either he doesn't know a lot about it or he's just sidestepping the shit out of all these questions. And like Zuckerberg, yeah, it was clear either he's ignorant about a lot of it or he knows some shit and he's not telling. Like, it's one or the other. You know what I mean? So, but he's
also
just so
the fucking people asking him the questions are all these old farts, all these old fucking people that don't even know how to use Facebook.
That was another one. Hold on, I want to read you what.
They're all these old fucks. Like,
they don't know anything.
One guy put like a poster board behind him of like memes or whatever, and asked Zuckerberg if he knew if they were real or fake. Like how the fuck does he know if it's real or fake? Like,
wow. This is crazy. I'm going to get to the results of the poll in a second, but I just want to read to exactly what you were saying there, the point you were making. There's one tweet where it shows Chuck Grassley next to Mark Zuckerberg. Chuck Grassley's like 1,000 years old. So old.
That might have been the guy that I saw.
And it says, Mr. Zuckerberg, a magazine I recently opened came with a floppy disk offering me 30 free hours of something called America Online. Is that the same as Facebook? There are so many good tweets about this. Because you're right. And by the way, I remember back when I was in college, in one of my political science classes, we had this discussion. And the professor brought it up, like, there's a big problem on the horizon, and the problem is the Supreme Court is going to have to make a lot of decisions on issues they have no fucking clue what they're talking about, like technology and the internet and all that shit. And how do you have these people on this court who don't know the first thing about technology, who now have to make decisions about what should be allowed and what shouldn't be allowed, when they're like so far removed from understanding the nature of the conversation?
Yeah. It's fucking weird.
You're going to love these results. Let me give you the results and then we'll wrap it up.
It's so fucking weird, the whole Facebook thing. Like, stop badgering. Like, and I don't really know the goal of those, like what is it that he's a hearing? Like, he's just talking.
Yeah, it's
like
a congressional hearing, basically. He's testifying before Congress.
But like anything but it's just very one-sided. Like, he can't even say a right answer where the person asking the question is like, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
It's all political grandstanding bullshit. That's all this is. This is all fucking selfish senators getting talking, sound bites for their fucking commercials for their re-election. Because nothing's gonna. What are they gonna do? They're scolding him because of fake news, and they're saying you need to do a better job controlling fake news, which gets to my point from before, which is, why do you think this guy has the ability to filter what makes sense and doesn't make sense, what's true and not true? That's fucking crazy.
Meanwhile, our president's out there spewing fake news. Like, there's bigger fish to fry than fucking Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, and it's just the whole idea that, like, something can be done. Like, no, what if nothing can even be done? That's just what it is. Like, there's going to be some fake shit out there. Okay. There's going to be some real shit. Okay. You can't try to ban the fake shit, because if you try to ban the fake shit, you're going to fuck up and get a lot of real shit. And then you shouldn't even be allowed to ban the fake shit, because the shit that's fake that's out there, you can't make sure everything's real all the time, but people fuck up. Like, it's just a stupid conversation. And then the other half of what they're talking about was probably the data issue of, like, how... whatever, there are these third parties that are data mining and stealing people's information. But, like, again... Okay,
fix that. Fucking get rid of them, and that's that. Like...
But we're opening Pandora's box anyway. We're so we're at a point now with technology where it's like...
It's just going to happen anyway.
Cat... Yeah, exactly. You can't put the cat back in the bag. Like, that shit is out.
Yeah, your shit's getting stolen one way or another. You're going to a porn site. You're going.
How many times do you see headlines like every other day? You see like big fucking data breach scandal. With one time it was Chipotle and I was affected by it. Another time it was another company. It was fucking some shit where you check your credit score. It's like 170 fucking million people. It's like, okay, so it's everybody. Everybody's fucking shit.
Yeah, like Chase Bank had some shit. Like, you use their card readers or like.
Yeah, exactly. That was the Chipotle one too. Was the card reader.
Yeah, some shit like that. Or like when I type in a web page and I type in the wrong shit, like I type in like Google or something like that, and it fucking goes to some weird website like that is commonly mistaken. Like, if you try to type in Google and you do some wrong letter, that shit's stealing your information. Like, by just fucking up that little mistake.
John Podesta, they got his private emails through a phishing scheme, which is like, they sent him an email that was like, your whatever account on some website you have, there's an issue with it. You need to log in and fix it. And then he clicks the link through the email and then logs in through the link in the email, and that's a phishing scam. And so I
once did that. I don't think my information got stolen, but it was like a Chase Bank or some shit, and like the whole interface looked identical to the shit. And it wasn't until I typed some shit in that I looked at the web page, and it was some shady ass shit. This looks real as fuck.
They try to hit me with that for PayPal all the time. Like, I'll get an email and it's like, PayPal.us.help or something. Like, they'll hit you. It'll say PayPal, but then you got to read the rest of it, and it's like fishy. But it'll look legit. It'll look like one of them was like, did you authorize a $23 payment to this? And I was like, I didn't authorize a $23 payment to that shit. And I click the email and I go into it, and they're like, if you didn't authorize it, log in and verify or whatever.
And that's when you give all your shit
That's when they would get somebody who doesn't.
Damn. Yeah. That's tough, because you get. I mean, like, my mom would click on anything. It could just be like,
well, that's why.
Do you like hamburgers? And she's like, sure. Well, give us your Social Security number and we'll send you a free burger.
Well, that's why. That's why I've become like the opposite extreme though, because I'm not that smart. Like, so my whole thing is just like I don't click anything at all
Yeah.
ever. So even when it's just like a regular ass fucking update for my computer, I'm like, nope, fuck
Yeah.
you. I don't do
It's true.
updates. Fuck off.
It's scary. All that shit, upgrading your fucking iPhone, clicking on some shit. Yeah, I get nervous with any fucking pop up, even if it's from like a legit like Nike or some shit.
Okay, so let me give you the results and then we'll call it a Nightington. I was gonna talk about the fucking Kimmel versus Hannity thing, but we don't need to talk about that.
Oh yeah, that's so weird. Hannity's just the joke he made wasn't even fucking bad. Like he just made fun of Melania's voice.
I just
It's
hate
not
that.
even that bad of
I
making
was just
fun of
upset
her.
that Kimmel backed down. I was like, don't. This guy's
Yeah.
a douche. You don't need to back down. Like,
He
fuck.
said he wanted to end the
Hannity.
feud, right?
Yeah, like, fuck that. Just fucking.
Keep going at him.
He's the biggest douche in the world. Why are you fucking acting like we should get along? Fuck that. Why would you get along with that guy? But anyway,
That's yeah.
the shaving poll. We were right. Shaving cream crushes 59% to 41%.
Good.
Gel hung in there, but ultimately got crushed. Best French fry, curly. 33% for curly.
Curly one.
Yeah, and then 32%.
Surprised because they don't even have that at all restaurants.
You're about to be pissed. 32% for regular, 22% for waffle, 13% for steak.
I knew steak would get last, but people don't.
But I fucked up because I
understand.
misspelled it and I put streak, so maybe people didn't know that streak was steak.
Yeah, someone definitely.
They were like,
there's
"What's a
definitely-
streak fry?" I'll go with regular.
Yeah, fuck, man. Because steak fries are the shit.
And then I love this result so much. The ultimate pizza question: thin and crispy versus thick and doughy.
Thick and doughy's got
50-50.
Seriously?
50-50.
Damn.
I mean, to
Why
be
people
fair, they hit it with like there's a blue thing over thin and crispy, and it's gray over thick and doughy. So I think that's supposed to be like thin and crispy literally has it by one vote because it's 2,765 votes, so that's an odd number.
God damn, and you got 50, practically
50-50. Yeah,
difference?
this is some shit right here. This is like Bush v. Gore back in the day. That's how close this is. But yeah, so thin and
Damn, why'd you fuck up the spelling on steak fries, man?
Nah, listen, keep it real. It wouldn't have won either way.
That shit would have gotten third over French fry.
I don't know about that.
I want some steak fries right now.
Speaking of that, I'm going to go eat. All right, we love you guys, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace. Much love.